Okay, in this tutorial, I'd like to walk you guys through the process of constructing a piece of furniture in one-point perspective. And so for the subject matter for this particular demo, I am going to focus on this couch right here. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this couch is it has some nice clean lines. It's a little bit more modern and contemporary, and it's easy to deconstruct. Now, the ratios or the proportions that we're going to be working with is we're going to treat the couch as if the couch is 3 feet deep, 3 feet tall, and since it's a love seat, we're going to make it 6 feet wide. So let's go ahead and hop over here to our artboard. We have the basic one-point perspective setup already in place. We have our format. We have the ground measuring line, the horizon line. We have the center line going down to the station point. You have the center of vision, the singular vanishing point for one-point perspective. We have the cone of vision, and we have the two measuring points. Okay, so as I get started, I'm just once again going to take note for myself. So the couch will be 3 feet by 3 feet by 6 feet. Those will be our operating dimensions. All right, so I'm just going to put it right here to keep that in mind as I'm working. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and get a different line color so that I can focus on this right here. So let's go ahead and start with a 3 feet by 3 feet section that will be facing us directly. Okay, so I'm going to just see that's a little large. So I'm not going to make mine 3 feet by 3 feet. I'm going to make mine 1.5 by 1.5. All right, and what we'll do is we'll treat every half inch as if it were a foot. Okay, and sometimes it's actually nice to make a note to yourself when you're dealing with scale. So 1/2 inch is the equivalent of 1 foot in this space in which we are working. Okay, so I'm going to throw the couch that square right down here, so it's mostly within our cone of vision. Okay, and now I will go ahead and draw my primary orthogonal lines going back to my vanishing point. So there and there. Okay, and get that all established. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lay out some little measurements for myself originating from that ground measuring line. Or not ground measuring line, I apologize, this anchor point right here. Okay, so I'm going to just make this blue so it's a little easier to differentiate. I don't think that is wanting to cooperate. Give me 1 second here. Go ahead and make that blue. Okay. So now I'm going to measure out from this point basically six times. It'll be 3 inches if we're doing it on half-inch increments. So I'll copy this and move it over by 1/2 inch. So that's the equivalent of 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, and 6 feet right there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, also, I think it would be nice to kind of have some similar markings going up our primary vertical line on the back side of this couch. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. So there's 1 foot, 2 feet, and then that upper corner will be 3 feet. Okay. So now I can use those lines to figure out from that measuring point back there how far that foreshortened 6 feet would be. Okay. So paying attention to this point of intersection right here. And so if I were doing this with the ruler, I would only make a little tick mark along that primary orthogonal line. Now I'll go ahead and draw up to find the back side of the couch and draw across to basically box it in like so. Okay, now let's go ahead and I like to kind of bounce back and forth between my reference and what I'm looking at right here. And I don't have everything measured out perfectly, and that's totally fine. I'm just going to kind of break it down in terms of comparative proportions. So the armrest on the couch, I think that's a little taller than 2 feet, but I don't think it's 2.5. I think it's probably going to be maybe 2 1/3 feet. So I'm going to just go ahead and just eyeball it right here and draw it across, and that would indicate the height of the arm on my chair. So let's go ahead and take that back to the vanishing point as well, so we can transfer that height over to the back side of the couch. Okay, now as far as the depth on the back of the couch goes, it doesn't look like that cushion is really all that deep. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that depth. And once again, I'll draw that back to my vanishing point right there. Okay. Now we have this landmark right here that I can also draw back to that vanishing point. And then I can draw down from this, and that will basically give me the portion of the cushions that exceed the height of the armrests on this little love seat. All right, now coming over and taking a look at the width of these arms. I don't think these would be a full foot wide. They're probably going to be about 8 inches wide. That's just me guessing. All right, so I wouldn't want to foreshorten a full 12 inches. I would actually want to foreshorten a point that, once again, is about 1/3 of the way between our anchor point and that first foot. So I'm going to go ahead and select that point right here and draw that back to my measuring point. Okay. Now once again, just looking for that little tick mark right there. I don't want to have more lines than is necessary. Okay. Now what I can do is draw up from that point of intersection to here, and that will establish the width of that armrest, and I'll go ahead and draw it back to the point where it would encounter that cushion. Okay. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I would like to actually transfer this over to the opposite side right here. I could do that with my little tick marks right here that originate from the anchor point, or what I could do is I could just find the center of the front portion of my couch. I'll just draw a vertical line up here like so. Okay, take it all the way down like that. And now what I can do is from this point right here, I can draw up through the center all the way up to that point, and then draw down from there. And I've used that patterning technique that we addressed in class to transfer this measurement across to the opposite side of the couch. Okay, so now I'll draw this across to here, and I'm going to draw a line across to there. All right, something got off just a little bit. All right, and sometimes that just happens. I think what it is this line right out here. I made it, this line should actually go up to here. Then draw that across like so. And what that will do is it will bring in the edge of our cushion, and there we go. Things are lining up better. Okay, so apologize that I got a little little mixed up here in the demo, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because it gives us an opportunity to address some of the issues that you will likely run into yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop over here to the couch and let's just kind of eyeball the height of that cushion. So I would visually peg the halfway point in the height of this armrest to be about here. So that cushion is a little taller than that halfway point. So I'm just going to visually eyeball it. I'm going to say the top of the cushion will be right there, and the bottom of the cushion will be about right there, like so. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'm going to draw up like this because there's two cushions on that couch. So we're finding that midway point between those two cushions. And then I'll just draw back like so. Okay. Now also draw from this point back like so. Okay, we'll draw down from right here, and then we would have this line that would be going back to our vanishing point. Now you notice I didn't actually draw that back to my vanishing point. I'm just kind of making a calculated guess based on this angle right here and this angle and this angle. So I feel pretty confident that it's close, if not 100% correct. Okay, now what I'm going to do is figure out where these two cushions on the back side of the couch will separate from one another. So I'll draw from this corner across to that corner, from this corner across to that corner right there. And now I'll just draw down from the center of that X. Okay. And then I will also draw across like so, and that will tell us where the separation between those two cushions are. All right, now the couch in its current form looks a little on the wonky side. Okay. Just going to make this line weight a little lighter. Once again, I should have done that a little sooner in the process. So instead of adhering to the rigidity of the one-point perspective, I'm actually going to just make some judgment calls. I'm going to try and aesthetize this. I think that's a word. I'm going to just try and make it more aesthetically appealing. So it kind of has the plushness of an actual couch, and it doesn't look like it was made out of concrete. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll start rounding off some corners. All right, so I'll just draw along the edge of this armrest, like so. I'll round that off. Draw it down. There's there's some roundness to all the corners, even where you have two corners coming together. So down here I'll round that off. Come over here, round that off. And draw this across. Round that off. Go ahead and draw this on up. Okay. We would actually get a little indent right here. Be just where the top of the cushion and the armrest kind of come together. I like to have a little indent. Now with the cushion, it doesn't have the same kind of wood structure that a couch does, so I'm actually going to make it feel a little bit more on the pillowy side. All right. So we'll do that. Okay, so for the top of the cushion, kind of the same thing. I'll kind of ebb and flow along that line. Have it sag a little bit. Okay, come down right in here. Now instead of just drawing straight down, that would be a really uncomfortable angle to sit at. I'm actually going to have the cushion kind of come forward a little bit, like so. Okay. Let's round that off a little bit more right there. Pick up the other cushion. All right, make sure I'm getting that same relative angle. Coming right down in here like this. All right, whoops, that looked kind of weird up top here. All right, now we're departing from this orthogonal line, so I'm just going to eyeball it right here. Okay, same thing right in here. We're really starting to depart from some of these orthogonals, and that's okay. Just keep it relatively going back to your vanishing point. Okay, do the armrest on this side. Just draw it straight across. You do that with a straight edge. All right, let's round this corner off. Draw it down. Round this corner off. Have it kind of indent a little bit right there. Let's see. Okay. All right, I like how that's feeling. Okay, so let's focus on these cushions right here. So once again, I want them to be kind of plush and pillowy, so I'll just draw them with a little bit more sag to them. Right, like so. Might be a little exaggerated right here. That's okay. Okay, pick it up on the other side. I'm going to have it kind of overhang past the edge of that armrest a little bit. Okay. Cut back in there like so. All right. Pick up some of these edges right in here. Round that off. Draw it back. Okay, now something I like to do when I'm dealing with rounded corner, I just kind of like to round off that line. So just, instead of just coming in there and almost confrontationally, this straight linear line hitting that rounded corner, I'll just round the end of that line so it just kind of seems to flow with everything else. So kind of do the same thing here. Avoid that being confrontational between the linearity and kind of the pillowiness of the cushion. Okay, you want this cushion to kind of come forward a little bit and have it hook back like so. Right, now I will draw something, a line like that. Okay, connect those two right there. All right, indicate a planar change here. Indicate a planar change right there. Planar change on the front cushions. Here and here. And I think I got everything. So, you won't have the luxury of just being able to simply toggle off some of your orthogonal lines, but, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, let's see, this ended up looking kind of weird. There we go. Now, instead of having everything drawn with the same line weight, I'm just going to come in here and change the line weight on some of the areas of the couch that are not containing lines. So these lines right in here, change those. Maybe I could even take these lines right in here and here and change those. And it'll just give your couch a little bit more character when there's some variety of line weight. All right. So I think that definitely looks a lot better than what it would have looked like if I would have adhered to the rigidity of this, just these straight orthogonal lines going back to the vanishing point. But it's still proportioned, it's still foreshortened, it's still in perspective, and it just has so much more character. Now, if you want to, you can also go in, now that I have the couch in, and kind of start to throw in some lines that maybe indicate that there's some sagging or folding going on. You can put in little lines like there's just some wear, some scratching. This tool doesn't really work that well for what I'm trying to explain. But, just little things like this help give just a teeny bit more character to what it is that you're drawing. It makes it feel a little bit more lived in. Okay, so good luck. I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.